hot restart option. What hot restart does is it restarts the whole app. But as if you have done anything, if you have installed Android Studio, might have seen that restarting an app takes a lot of time. But hot restart takes very less time. So this again saves developers time a lot. So this is what they look like. So now I'll be telling you a few things you need to know before starting Android development with Flutter. So widgets. First of all, everything in Flutter is a widget. So widgets are the most important thing in Flutter. Widget is a way to declare and construct UI. A widget might display something, it might help define design, it might help with layout, it may handle user interaction, etc. In Flutter, everything is a widget. Even your app itself is a widget. So everything you see in an app, like the buttons, the text, the images, everything is a widget. Now, this is a very important concept in Flutter, stateless versus stateful widgets. So this will be a little hard for you to understand right now, but you can just get the basic idea about it. So stateless widgets, these widgets do not require mutable state, and stateful widgets, they have mutable state, that is, they are mutable and can be drawn multiple times within its lifetime. So I'll show you the next slide first. So this is an app which has been made using only stateless widgets, and this is an app. Just a second. As you can see, whenever you're clicking the button, whenever the button is being clicked, oh, 1 minute, what is happening? Okay, yeah, so whenever the button is being clicked, this right here is changing. The widgets here are changing. And this is a stagnant app. Here nothing is changing. Here only you can see things, but nothing is changing. There are no buttons, no text fields, nothing is happening here. So this is an app which has been made by using stateless widgets, which are not mutable. They don't need to be changed. And here, whenever the button is getting clicked, these widgets right here are changing. So that is why we say that in stateless widgets, they cannot change their state during the runtime of the app, which means the widgets cannot be redrawn while the app is in action. And in stateful widget, they are the widgets which can change their state multiple times and can be redrawn onto the screen any number of times while the app is in action. So this is the code snippet for stateless widget, and this is for stateful widget. This is how you create them. So did you get the concept of stateless and stateful widget?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now you need to know about Scaffold. Scaffold is like the parent of everything in Flutter. Whenever you see an app, whenever you open an app in Flutter, the first thing you will see is Scaffold. It is present everywhere. So Scaffold widget provides a framework which implements the basic material design, visual layout structure of the Flutter app. It contains various functionality from giving an app bar, a floating button, drawer, background color, bottom navigation bar, footer buttons, body. So basically it contains everything in an app. You might have seen app bar in many apps, and there is always a body present in the middle of the app, and there is something in the bottom. So all of these are just like children of Scaffold, and Scaffold is the parent of all these things. So I'll be telling you about some important widgets. There are a lot of widgets in Flutter, but these are some of the widgets which we will be using now in hands-on session. So that's why I'll be telling you about them right now. So container. A container widget is used to contain a child widget with the ability to apply some styling properties. Just a second. In this app, this is a picture, okay, and this has been wrapped by a container. The container is the parent of these pictures, because and here this white portion is also a container. So I think you might get the idea about what a container is, right? So it provides many types of properties like border, style, and everything. And then you have the text widget. The text widget, as you all know, displays a string of text with single style. Text widget is very useful. All these are text widgets. Here this is text widget, this is a text widget, again this is a text widget, this is a text widget. So all of these are text widgets. And then there is text field. So text field also you might have seen on every login page, on every sign in page, wherever, because that's where you have to type your email ID or your password. So that space is text field. Text field lets the user enter text either with hardware keyboard or with an on-screen keyboard. Then flat button. So flat button is basically just a button which performs an action when the button is tapped. So this is also a very important concept in Flutter, widget tree. So widget tree is how you create your user interface. You position widgets within each other to build simple and complex layouts. Widget tree is a structure that represents how our widgets are organized. I'll give you an example and then you'll understand more. Okay, so this is a very basic app which contains an app bar, and this is a button. Okay, so as I told you, Scaffold is the parent of everything, right? So the parent is Scaffold, and it has two children, the app bar and the whole body part. Okay, so this is the Scaffold. It has two children, body and app bar. Then the app bar is not blank, right? It also has a child. Its child is this text. So app bar's only child is text. Then body's child is center, because this button right here is placed in the center. If you do not place it inside center, then it will come here in the corner, which we do not want. So we will wrap it inside a center widget. So center is the parent of this button, and then again the button is the child of the center, and then the text is the child of this button, because this button is not empty, it also has a child, so this is text. So this is the widget tree. So let's go behind and see. Okay, so what do you think the widget tree is here in this app? There might be app bar somewhere, but I think I cropped it by mistake. So a scaffold is everywhere. Okay, so this is main, you can say this is a scaffold. Then we have an app bar and we have a body. Okay, so this is the body. So inside the body again we have the center widget, right? Because everything you can see is placed in the center. And then center's child is column. As you can see, everything is placed here in column. If you would have wanted a single widget, then you need not place any column or row. As you can see in this, the two widgets are placed in rows, but in this, all the widgets are placed in a column. So this is the center, this is the column, and inside the column there are many children, like it has this image first of all, then it has this text widget, then it has again these text widgets. Are you understanding what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
If you have any doubts, you can ask it.
These are rows now, ma'am. Rows widgets.
Like they are oh, 1 second. Like they're placed in column, like in a vertical axis, right? And these are placed in like horizontal axis.
Okay, okay, ma'am, got it.
So this is how we do things. 1 second. Okay, so now let's have some hands-on. I will be telling you some kinds of code on Dartpad. So I want you guys to open dartpad.dev. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you guys should open dartpad.dev. Did you guys open it? Can you see my screen of Dartpad?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So go in the samples part. Here you can see this button, samples, and open this counter app.
Ma'am, from where we have to download this?
Nowhere, you just have to type on Google dartpad.dev.
Okay, ma'am.
So this Dartpad is basically used for only some basic apps. Like you can create some basic apps here. It can create only single screen apps and all that. Otherwise, you have to use Android Studio only for bigger apps. But this is just a demo session for basic things. So that's why we are using Dartpad here. Okay, so did this open in your laptops?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so
Yes,
this
ma'am.
is a very basic app. This is the counter app in which you are pressing this button and the text widget here is changing to the number of times you have pressed the button. Okay, so can you tell me which kind of widget will use your stateless or stateful?
Stateful.
Yes, very good.
Stateful, ma'am.
Yes. We will use stateful here because the widget is changing. It is not a stagnant app. Things are happening here. A button is present here. That's why we'll use stateful widget. Okay, so you can see we created stateful widget here. So can anybody tell me the widget tree here? You can see there is an app bar. There are two text buttons. I mean text widgets, and there is a button again.
Ma'am, there is body, and other one is
First one is
bar.
scaffold, right?
Scaffold, then body, and then
Yes.
app bar. The two differentiate, and then after in body we have center, then text, I think, and then after I don't remember that what to call that, which is changing.
This is a floating action button, and this is also a part of app bar. As I told, that app bar can have three parts, like it can have many things, but here it has like three parts: app bar, the body, and this the bottom part. So this is scaffold. Okay, and then inside the body you have these two texts. Okay, so here you can see this code here, return scaffold and then app bar, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So scaffold,
Yes, ma'am.
then app bar, then in the body we have center because this is in the center, and then as I said, these both are in column because they are placed vertically. So these two text widgets are in a column, and then inside the column you have these both, and then when the column ends and when the body ends, we have this floating action button which we are pressing to increase the number here. Okay, so then now we'll see the basic about how this button is working. So first we'll see how everything here. So okay, so this is the app bar. The title of the app bar is this text, the Flutter demo homepage, and then there is the center, and then there is a column, and then there is this text, these two text widgets. So what if we want to change the color of the text? So text has different properties, one of them being style. So you can style your text however you want to. So you just have to type this. You have to type style, then text style. Okay, so we made this color blue. So we'll run this app again. So you can see the color here became blue. So you can try these different things. You can try different colors in the text widget. So this is how you change the color. You can also change the font style, the font size. You can change anything you want to. Are you guys following?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
good.
ma'am.
So this is so the text widget ends here. Then we have this floating action button. Okay, so this also has different properties. So this is on pressed, which is the most important property in button, because a button is nothing if you cannot do anything by pressing it. So we have this function on this property on pressed, and it takes a function as a parameter. Okay, so this is a function which we'll create. So this is increment counter function. So let's see what this function is doing. Okay, let's go above. So here you can see this function. Do you guys have the basic idea about functions and parameters and stuff?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so
Yes.
Yes,
this
ma'am.
is a void function as it is not returning anything. What this function is doing, I'll tell you what this set state is about later. So just see that this function is increasing this counter variable. We declared this counter variable here. We put a 0 inside this variable, and then we are increasing it by 1. Okay. And here the text widget is saying what is the text here. Dollar sign means the variable after it. So it will display whatever text is inside this variable. So what is happening here is whenever you're pressing the button, this function gets called, this increment counter, this function is getting called, and the counter variable is increasing by 1. But how can you say that this will change the text widget here, because the counter variable is getting increased, but you have to rerun the app again to change the widget tree. So how is that happening? That is happening by the use of set state. So this is what set state does. It rebuilds the whole widget tree whenever you click the button. So that is why set state is very important. Whenever you create a button, you have to put the function inside the set state. So what set state does is it rebuilds the whole widget tree so that this text widget right here changes. Are you getting my point?
Once more, please.
Okay, so whenever we are clicking this button, we click this button, what is happening? The function, this increment counter function is getting called, okay? So the counter increases. So whenever the counter increases, then there is this text widget inside which the text is this counter variable. So the counter variable increases in the background, but how do we know that it will get displayed in the app? So for that, for it to get displayed inside the app in your body, then you have to use set state. What set state does, it reloads this whole app, it rebuilds this whole widget tree. At first the widget tree was built with this previous counter variable, right? And now whenever you are clicking the button, it has to change this widget, it has to change the text in this widget. So for that you have to use set state. Okay, did you get it now?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is all about this app, and if you have any questions to ask, you can. You can also do some experiment here, like this is what is happening here. The counter is increasing by 1. So why don't we make it increase by 2?
And in which language the entire code is written?
I told you in the beginning that it is all in Dart. That is why we are using Dartpad. It is a very simple language. I mean, you don't need to learn it separately. You can learn it along with Flutter. You don't need any basics about the language because it is pretty much like any other language. You don't need to learn it separately.
Yes. And that is a particular language for it. Yes, used for Flutter.
Yeah, yes.
From where we can learn this language?
You don't need to learn it separately. Whenever you start learning Flutter, I'll send you the course link after the session. So you will see that you will not need to learn it separately. Okay, so I guess my internet is not working properly, so this is not working. But you can do it. You can change this to +2 or multiply it by 2 or anything you want to, and then it will display the results.
Ma'am, in the beginning you told that using Flutter we can make only single screen app. So multiple views Android Studio. But Android Studio is Android app and using Flutter we told that we can make any app, Android, iOS
No,
or
no,
Windows.
yeah, no. I said that in using Dartpad, you can make only single screen app because this is just for demonstrations and for basics. We have to install Flutter in Android Studio only. I'll send you how to install it later. But this is just for demo. Dart in Dartpad, you cannot make two screen apps. Like as you can see, there is only option to make one screen app. So this is pretty much what you can do in Dartpad.
Flutter is installed within Android Studio.
Yes, it is an SDK. I'll tell you about it later. I'll send you the link how to install it and everything. So that's why for now I'm telling you in Dartpad for demonstration. This whole code will work in Dartpad.
Man, can't we use
The
any
same
other
app will
code
be
editor?
there.
That is simply a
What?
language. Can't, that is simply a language. So can't we use any other
Any other?
code editor like IDE anything?
Uh, I'm, I did not get your question. I mean, what do you
And
want to
that
say?
is a language. Can't we use
Yeah.
any editor, code editor, IDE? run these apps?
Well, this is specially made for, I mean, this is the most famous one and this is the one that works properly. So there may be some other editors or some online compilers, I don't know, but this one is good for for beginners. Otherwise, you have to install Android Studio. That is necessary. This is just for you to experiment things. I don't know what is happening.
It's working fine on my computer.
Yeah, good. Okay, so I will send you one more app which I created. This is the link for it. I'm sending it here in the chat box. So you guys open the link and run the app. Did you guys open the link?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is what it looks like. Did you guys run the app? Hello? Did
Yes,
anybody
ma'am.
run the app?
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so are you getting this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is a BMI calculator which I created just by making a few changes in that counter app. Like this is also using a stateful widget, so all these parts will remain the same. So which widget is this one? Can anybody tell me this beside height and weight?
Text field.
Text field.
Yes, very good. So these are text field widgets. So here, can anybody tell me the widget tree by seeing this UI? You can try it. It does not need to be correct because you are learning very fast right now. You guys are responding very nicely. Does anybody want to try?
Yes, ma'am. Again, scaffold. Then
Hmm?
body part comes under it, and then app bar. In body part we center. Then
Hmm?
we go for columns, rows, and there's two sub parts of it: text and text field.
Hmm?
Then again it's weight, and the row, I think columns. Then we get text and text field, and then a button, I think.
Yes, very good. You were correct. So this has and first of all, again, scaffold, app bar. The parent will be scaffold. It will have two children, app bar and body. So the app bar will have text and the body will have again the center widget, and then the center's child will be a column because all these things are placed in a column, and then the column's children will be, one of the children will be this, will be a row, and then another child will be this button. So in the first row, again there will be two children, this text and this text field, and in the other row there will be again these two widgets, the text and the text field. So what is the formula for BMI? How can we calculate it?
Mass in kg by height in meter square.
Yes, very good. So this is what we are doing here. We have created this UI just by using that widget tree. So like we can type any height here and any weight. So this will display the BMI like this. Okay. So you understood the UI of this app. So I'll tell you how this button is working. These are very basic apps which you can try for yourself. I have given you the link so you can see, you can experiment, you can change the colors, you can see anything you want to. So what is happening here? Again, there is this button and there is on pressed, and we have this function calculate BMI, which has two parameters, h and w, which means height and weight. This is a little bit more complex than the last app. So we have to declare all these variables: string, height, string, h, w, result, BMI. So here is this function calculate BMI. It is void as it is not returning anything. It has two parameters, string height and string weight. So again we are using set state. I told you why we use set state. So we are using BMI equal to double dot parse weight. So we are taking the weight here in string, right? The parameters here are in string. So we have to convert it into double. So we'll convert it into double. This is the code for converting weight into double in Dart. And then we are converting the height into double as well. And then we are storing the result in this b equal to bmi dot to string as fixed 2. This 2 here is for precision value, like it will round off your BMI. You can see that it is only giving you 2 digits after the decimal. So it is for that, and the result is stored in this B. So this is result, your BMI is B.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
the upper which where the BMI was getting calculated, it was written two string and then fixed two. So it was
Yeah.
fixed to two decimal places and then converting it to string and then storing it in B.
Yeah, we are converting it to string again
Okay. Ma'am,
because we
but
have to display it here in this text form, right?
yes, ma'am.
We have to display it in the form of text widget. So that is why we converted it back to string.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so again this and here the last text widget, this one is we are displaying your result, and we have changed the style here to we have changed the color, the font size, the font weight. So these are the things you can do. So I mean, I know you will not understand the whole everything about it now, but the idea of this session was just to give you the basic idea about Flutter so that you get interested to learn it. So I'll show you one more app and then we'll go to doubt session. So you can open this app. I won't be explaining it much because it includes animation and all, so that you won't understand now. So this is what will open when you open that link. Did you guys open the link?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So when you click this button, it will roll like a dice and it will show different numbers. So there is a function in Flutter, in Dart, random dot next int, and in the bracket I've written 6 so that it displays number only between 1 to 6. So this is how it is working. We store it in some variable and then we display it here in the text widget. So that is why when you click it, both the numbers are changing and any random number can appear between 1 to 6. So these are some interesting apps which you can create using Dartpad as well. And in Android Studio, you can do a lot more than this. You can create very nice apps, and well, I have created. And if you uh, would be interested in Flutter, then we will start some projects, and based on Flutter. The rest of the sessions will be based on Java, but if you like Flutter, then there will be separate projects for Flutter, and I'll be sending you the course link after the session. So if you want, you can start it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so any doubts? Do you guys have any doubts? You can ask anything you want to.
Ma'am, last time when we were asked to download the Android Studio, like it is not related to this topic, but can I ask the doubt?
Yeah, okay.
Ma'am, last time we were asked to download the Android Studio, so I
Hmm.
had downloaded it beforehand only, but then it was not showing as switching it on. After that, I asked sir about this, so he was like, "Hey, you try it. If it doesn't happen, then you ask again." So it did not like it is there in the in my PC, and I've installed it also, but it is not running and it is not opening up a window.
Okay.
Like it is in the form of files that I have downloaded.
I'm not sure about it because I installed Android Studio a long time ago, so I don't remember these things happening. We will clear your doubt surely. Just give us some time. Ayushman, can you say anything regarding it?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Sir, I have downloaded the Android Studio, but it is downloaded as a file. So now when I open it, there's no window opening. Although I've installed it, and when I open it in the start button, it is showing there the Android Studio, but it is not opening after that.
Okay, so you cannot directly install Android Studio. You have to download some SDKs also. So I can message me personally or somebody, then we'll talk to you in detail. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? So did you guys find Flutter interesting and will you start it? Start learning it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. It seems
Yes,
interesting.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Good.
Yes, ma'am.
And will you tell me more about this Flutter and its usage in current scenario?
Its uses in?
Where we use it right now, matlab, in this world?
In Android development, all these different platforms, like using Java, you can create the same apps using Java as well as Flutter. There are many options, and Flutter is just one of them.
Most interesting part about Flutter is that by using Java or Kotlin, you can make only Android related app, and for iOS related apps, you have to do a separate coding and all about all that stuff. For web apps, you have to create a separate coding base. Everything will be separate. But by using Flutter, you by using Flutter, you can use the same code for mobile apps
web apps, and these Android and iOS related issues too. So that's a
Mm.
major
That
good
is why
point.
Flutter is growing exponentially these days. It started later, but now it has become very famous.
Okay.
There are different options for you all to start Android development. You can start using any you want. So do some research about all of them: Kotlin, Java, Flutter, everything, and then choose one of them, because we'll see the number of you of the students interested in Flutter or in Java or anything, and we'll start projects based on that. So if you don't have any doubt, should we end the session?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you everyone.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.